Jewel at Changi Airport is a world of iconic sights, culinary delights, and hidden gems. It takes your experience at Changi Airport to another level. So today, Renjie and I are going to explore its wonders, from the Rain Vortex to the surprises that even Pokémon fans will love.
So, when you think of Jewel Changi, which I know you've been to because you mentioned this in the last episode, what is the visual that comes to your mind?
So, honestly, Renjie, I see the one image that comes to my mind is the tallest indoor waterfall in the world.
Yes.
That is the Vortex.
The Rain Vortex, yes.
Yeah, the Rain Vortex. But more so, for me, Jewel is one of the best additions to one of the best airports in the world. Because whenever you're traveling from one place to another, the transit time really matters. But I see in Singapore, transit time doesn't matter. Because the Jewel is a place where you could do anything. You could eat, you could drink. After drinking, you can rest.
You can watch a movie.
You can shop, you can watch a movie. You can do a few adventurous things.
Yeah.
So, it's something that, and a transit time can be about 23 hours, 24 hours, like maximum, right?
Yeah.
Where you could spend an entire day in Jewel. So, that's the perfect addition to Changi Airport. And that's Jewel for me. Everyone goes there for the waterfall.
Yes.
But you help us dive deep into this amazing thing that is the Jewel.
Okay, so I must say that the image that comes to my mind when someone says to me Jewel is exactly the same as yours.
Yeah.
And I think we've all had that same image in our mind, which is, right in the middle, the tallest indoor waterfall is coming down, it's surrounded by greenery, and you're viewing this from an elevated position. So you're actually seeing the monorail tracks where the monorail is going through. And of course, you are essentially standing on that little sort of outlook or like a balcony where you've come up the escalator. So I think everyone has that view in mind.
Can I say something here?
Yes.
I have not been to the viewing gallery to see the waterfall because one time I just didn't have the time.
Yeah.
The second time I was like, today I'm going to go and see the indoor waterfall. But it was Prince William who was there at Jewel. And
you mean you were not the VIP? It was someone else?
It was super crowded. So, yeah, but tell us about it. Sorry I interrupted you.
No, we love us a good Prince William. Okay, so in my mind, my favorite view of Jewel is still that, right? That's the iconic view. But the real hidden gem behind Jewel is actually in sort of these other nooks and corners where you can enjoy and experience the beauty of Jewel, because it is a stunning building. It's a stunning piece of architecture, designed, of course, by Moshe Safdie, who also designed Marina Bay Sands. So if there were ever a look to Singapore, it would essentially be Marina Bay Sands, Jewel Changi, and then also Gardens by the Bay. There's a very specific look about that. But there are all these other sort of ways to experience the beauty of Jewel, not just from that one iconic view.
So what are some of these nooks and corners?
Okay, so maybe we go like ground up.
Okay.
So starting in the basement, actually, if you go down to the basement, there's this one sort of central area where you're essentially at the Rain Vortex, right? So it's the area that corresponds to the ground floor where you sort of have that like circular part where you stand and you see the Rain Vortex coming down in front of you. When you go underground, you are essentially where the water is thundering down to, and you're separated from the Rain Vortex, all of that water thundering down from the tallest indoor waterfall in the world by this beautiful curving glass wall. Right? And the most amazing part of that is, apart from it looking beautiful just visually, the light that comes in, you go up and you put your hand up against this glass panel and you feel the force again of all that water coming down, which there's a beauty of seeing like a waterfall from afar, but it's something else when you're experiencing essentially the waterfall inside out, right? So that's beautiful.
It amazes me whoever had thought of this waterfall.
Yeah.
Because, it's very easy to put a shopping mall next to an airport because you're going to get people coming in. You told me that your parents go there every afternoon.
Pretty much, yeah.
But thinking of a waterfall like this is innovative in its own way. And I'm glad that you started it off with the feel part of it, because you can see it, you can click photos of it, but how you feel the water gushing down is incredible.
It's otherworldly.
Yeah.
Okay, then so as we move up the floors, right, when you go onto the second and the third floors, there's a whole, so I mean, it's a circular, like think of Jewel as like a donut, right? So all the
okay.
shops are kind of built in a donut format,
Yeah.
in which the center is this tallest indoor waterfall in the world. And there's a whole section of restaurants on the second and the third floor
Yeah.
that kind of are on the inside ring of the donut, if that makes sense, so facing the waterfall. And all of them inside the restaurants have a sort of balcony parapet area where you are essentially eating al fresco, although indoors, still very much al fresco, I guess. So on this sort of little balcony that's jutting out, and in front of you, you have this beautiful waterfall thundering. And so there's like, Latin American food, or there's a Thai restaurant that's like that. There's a couple of different sort of permutations and combinations of cuisines and of price points that you could want. But I think it's just such a special experience to not just be seeing that as a sight, but also having like the sight in front of you as you're tucking into a wonderful meal.
Yeah, and I can totally get it, because those tables would be probably the most sought after tables at those restaurants.
And you know what's funny is you are right. In my mind too, it's like, who wouldn't want to sit there?
Yeah.
But you can often just walk in off. I mean, and these are not like empty restaurants. You can walk in off and off the I guess corridor and say, hey, I want those seats, and you probably can get them. You may have to wait for half an hour.
Is that
or
because
whatever,
many locals go there and for them the waterfall is just like not novelty anymore?
I don't know. I mean, let me ask my parents. I'll circle back.
What was the third thing that you had on?
Okay, so the third thing is going to the top floor.
Okay.
Now, everyone, except maybe you, have gone to the top floor.
Yeah.
But the top floor is a wonderful experience because, again, it's these sort of triangular glass panels, again, in a sort of sinuous curving ceiling above you. Very, very tall ceilings, but they are all letting the light in. And so there's a bunch of attractions you can go to on the top floor, but my favorite part, unsurprisingly, is the cocktail bar on the top floor. And it's called The World is Flat, which is
Okay.
just such a wonderful name
Yeah.
for a cocktail bar at an airport. And I just think there's something so special about sitting down to a wonderful craft cocktail right before your flight and have just these beautiful aircraft fly overhead. You see the control tower, again, another icon in the distance. It's a spectacular experience.
I mean, I didn't know about this. Had I known of this, I would have definitely gone to it because I love planes, right?
Time to book that flight ticket.
Well, I think we've spoken enough about Jewel, and one thing I think we've missed out and I want to circle back to is that tell me about one bakery, one restaurant, and one souvenir shop that I should really go to at Jewel
In Jewel?
In Jewel, if it comes to your mind.
Okay, one bakery, one souvenir shop,
And one restaurant.
and one restaurant. So easy.
Yeah.
From a bakery point of view, again, I think the name might be like One Bakery or something, but it's a very like casual. You find this in sort of public housing estates. It's a casual bakery chain.
Yeah.
They make the most heavenly waffles,
Yeah.
and they're pandan waffles too. And then they
Okay.
slather it with peanut butter, but it's like the peanut butter that's very oily, so the oil inevitably sips down to the bottom of the paper bag that they give you in. It's a mess to eat, but it's that perfect mix between the smell of the pandan fragrance, the crispness of the waffle, the like slick of peanut butter that's like kind of slightly melted inside. Amazing. Restaurant, I love Putien. Putien, again, is another chain restaurant. You find this in malls all across Singapore, but it's on the Michelin Guide. It's a wonderful, southern Chinese regional cuisine. Delicious food and always worth a pre-flight meal. And then a souvenir shop. Okay, do you like Pokemon?
Yeah, I used to.
Okay, I think all of us kind of did, right?
Yeah.
And many of us kind of still do. So there's a Pokémon Center in Jewel Changi, and it's the only one outside of Japan, in Asia at least. And it's a recreation of the Pokémon Center that you go to, in the game. And it's really just like Pokémon Wonderland. So it's not necessarily like, I don't think they have a Merlion Pokémon, but it's always such a wonderful way to kind of just experience that.
I think that's an awesome list to end the episode with. But because we are at Jewel, we are so close to Changi, next episode, let's discuss Singapore Airlines.
Okay.
And if I talk about Singapore Airlines, what are 3 things or 3 words that come to your mind?
The 3 words that come to my mind are home,
Yeah.
are sleek,
Sleek. Okay.
very sleek, and just food. To be honest,
Food.
yeah.
Food on a plane, which can be very interesting. But
Yeah.
let's discuss secrets of a Singapore Airlines flight on the next episode.
Amazing.